Hello, welcome back. Another Wednesday rolls around once again, and it's time for the weekly live stream. Oh, just got a message coming up there reminding me of somebody's birthday. Okay, so we will crack on really. Nothing much to add in the way of news. Good evening, Bob. I see Bob's just dropped in. So I thought this week I would do a bit of a biography of sorts, a little bit about myself, how I came to this hobby. You know, main events in my life that maybe steered the way, and yeah, just that really. And while I'm doing that, I shall be working on the Abrams US battle tank, the main US battle tank. So we'll probably put that to one side, and we'll just work on this bottom bit. Do a bit of testing with some washes and that. So modeling's come a long way since when I was a lad. In fact, when I was a lad, Airfix was probably about the only people that made kits that I was aware of. They were, you know, everything to do with modelling was Airfix and Humbrol. You know, the Revel was about, I think. I mean, obviously it was about, but you know, in my world, most sort of hobbyist modelers, it was Airfix, yeah, and you know, it was tubes of cement. I don't know if many of you remember those. You still find them about, but the little tubes of cement like you get with your puncture repair kits. You know, you'd open the cap and it would just generally ooze everywhere. And my first kit was an A10. I remember it very well. It was huge. I remember it being absolutely massive. In hindsight, though, it was probably only a 1/48th kit, because obviously then I had small hands. So it felt that much bigger. No jokes, Bob. So yeah, I remember putting that together, and there was you know, glue oozing out of all the seams, fingerprints everywhere. I used the enamel paints to paint it with. Didn't really let them dry properly. Would probably leave them overnight at the very most. And then at the end of it, I'd have this wonky A10 with one engine not quite sitting right. Another one would be off skew width to the side. There would be bubbles of glue just, you know, out of most of the seams. There was no such thing as getting rid of seam lines. You know, they were just there. And yeah, it would, in today's terms, it would look absolutely dreadful. But I remember, you know, putting it down and looking at it and thinking, damn, that's a work of art. Apologies for the dog barking at the bird who's making noises towards his general direction. There we go. So yeah, and that was about the only real kit that I bothered with back then. Well, it's the only one I can remember. Of course, this was early teens, and of course then school came along, and I made friends, a few friends, and moved on with that. Interestingly enough, I mean, school, I never really liked school. It wasn't that I was stupid or anything like that. I was more than capable of doing the work. It was just, how can I put it? There was just no challenge in it as such. It was just very boring. And you get some kids that go to school that it is like that for them. I was very much somebody that wanted to work. So, you know, I had part-time jobs right from well before, you know, I made my own part-time jobs up before I was old enough to actually do any proper part-time work. Me and Martin back then, we created a gardening business, and we even put a drive in once out of old bricks. Yeah, and we got money like that. You know, then I worked at a Cantonese restaurant as a dishwasher, and you know, I just constantly working, never ever out of work. And then there was an incident at school. The one thing that I struggle with to this day, always treat people how they treat me. So if somebody's shitty with me, I am equally shitty back. And it's been like that. That has been my main sort of point that you know, that's one of the phrases I live my life by. So yeah, you know, and we had a couple of teachers there that didn't like me, and one of them I especially disliked, and there was an incident, and as a result of this, the police may or may not have been called. I can't remember. The teachers' union got involved, and this teacher refused to teach me anymore. I think that particular teacher was a lady, and I put a condom in her pencil case. She was a maths teacher, and halfway through the lesson, I put my hand up, and she said, "Yes, what do you want?" And I said, "Have you got a rubber I can borrow?" And she went looking through her pencil case, and nothing more was said apart from she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Out!" Yeah, and she refused to teach me again. So you know, I never really got on in school, and in the end, there was that wasn't the incident that involved the police, but it was decided that about in the very last year of school, the school decided that they would let me come back to do my exams, but they felt it best that I didn't come back to do any more lessons there, and that was left at that, which I was perfectly happy with. Of course, then I got a job almost instantly. I thought, great, I can work now. So I got a job. I got a full-time job working, at the time, it was Freeways Garage. And it was just cleaning cars and stuff like that. Just small stuff. And I'd done a whole day's worked really hard. And the manager gave me a tenner. And I remember thinking, a tenner, that was, you know, I've done a lot of I've done a lot of work, and I felt it was worth more than a tenner. Anyway, it turns out I wasn't actually allowed to have a full-time job, even though school had sent me, effectively expelled me as such. I was still registered as too young to work. So at one point, it looked like Freeways could have got into trouble over this. I didn't lie to them. I told them up front everything that would happen. So their view on it was to try and suggest that I'd stolen an engine from a car while they were, it was completely ludicrous. I used to push bike to work, and there's no way I could hump a bloody big, I think it was a Capri engine they'd accused me of trying to steal or something like that. It's absolutely ludicrous. So as a result, they sort of sacked me, if you like. And I remember being really, really bloody annoyed at that. Being accused of something I hadn't done, all because they felt they were going to get into trouble and they wanted a quick way out of it. So they wanted rid of me quick. So that was that. So from there, I got a job, a part-time job, cutting glass for a company called Bill Bates Limited, I think it was called. And the glass went into making syringes and test tubes and things like that. And I worked there for a while, all the time looking for other work because it wasn't really the job I wanted to do. It was a very mundane job. You basically got the glass came in thin rods. So you'd have glass tubes, probably about this thickness here, and they'd be about, I don't know, a meter and a half long, and you'd have a blade and a stop, and you'd put the glass up to the stop. You'd have a handful of about, I don't know, 9 or 10 of them in a row, and you just zip against the blade and tap, and you'd have 12 short lengths, and you put them in a tin, and the tin would go off to the next stage. So all I done all day was zip, and do that. So it was really boring. And I wanted something else. And something else came along in the guise of I got offered an apprenticeship with, at the time, it was called British Timken. Huge company. It still is. And yeah, I snapped that up. I had to go and do a day of exams and tests, really weird tests though. It was like, write S as fast as you can backwards, silly things like that. It turns out it was the test that the Canadian Mounties used to select their next intake of Mounties, so it was really weird, but I done it and I got accepted, and that was great. I'd got an apprenticeship. It was a really big event for me, that was. I was so pleased that I'd got this apprenticeship. And I think about this time I went out and bought a motorbike. I think it might be Kawasaki AR50, something like that. Really nice bike it was. It was like in a racing style. Damn lovely bike it was. It was red and white. Well, it was mainly white with red, some red highlights and black dials, and the handlebars were sort of swept back, and yeah, really nice. But only 50cc, so it sounded a bit like a Strimmer, going along. That was until I bought the Ram Air air filter, which made it sound like an angry strimmer. And yeah, that was great, but it was no good really in the long run, because I was quite a big chap, and it was too much weight for it. So inevitably the bearings went on the engine while in warranty. So it had to have the bearings redone. But yeah, that was a nice bike. So I'd done my apprenticeship, and then halfway through my apprenticeship, I suppose I had my first big setback. I had a motorbike accident, and it was quite a nasty one. I got hit by the guy that at the time was racing for Great Britain in the RAC Lombard Rally. His name was Jonathan Milner. And it was early in the morning. I was going to work, morning shift, and so we're looking at 6. It would have been about 6:10, something like that. And I'm on by this time I've got I believe it's a Suzuki. I've got a Suzuki 125 maybe. And I can't remember the exact make, but it was brown, horrible colour for a bike, brown and black. Yeah, and I approached a T junction. So if we say this is the road I'm going along, let me just move that to one side. This is the T junction here, and I'm coming down here. So I get to about here, and there's a car that's pulled up. He sort of edges forward a little bit and then stops. And as I'm approaching here, I'm down to about 10 miles an hour. I'm thinking to myself, he's not going to stop. But then he does stop. His brake lights come on and he stops. So I think, I'm all right. And I accelerate to go past. As I draw level with him, he just pulls out all of a sudden and bang, hits the side of me, completely crushes the whole of my leg into the side of the engine block, petrol tank, really, really badly does some damage, and it flings me quite a distance. And the long, I end up having done some serious damage all down the left-hand side of my body. I had to have an immediate operation that lasted about, I think it's 14-15 hours. And yeah, and I came round after that. And it was a real nasty affair. So about 2 weeks later, I'm lying in bed. They come round to do the dressings because it's not healing very well. A doctor from Stoke Mandeville, he's the big plastic surgery unit. He's up there checking on a patient in the next bed to me, well, the opposite bed, and he happens to glance at my dressing as he walks by, because he has to ask the nurse something. He has to stop and ask the nurse something as she's undoing the dressing, and he has a look. Anyway, the next thing I know, I'm being shipped down to Stoke Mandeville. It turns out he's seen that I've got gangrene in the leg. Not very pleasant. So I get taken down to Stoke Mandeville. And they take me, and they're going to do exploratory surgery. And so they take me in for exploratory surgery. I don't know. I come round about 16 hours later, I'm out of surgery. It turns out the leg was so far gone, they had to operate there and then to save it. And to be fair, they'd done a good job. They managed to save it. It was never very good. It was never brilliant. The leg was never very good. I always suffered with it, pain and everything like that. And to be honest, that's what I was left with after the surgery. Obviously, that's the bad leg. That was taken some years later. Yeah, so it just wasn't very good. And that was that chapter of my life sort of over. I managed to go back and do my apprenticeship, finish it off, but at the time I've been working there. They were putting me forward for an electronics engineer apprenticeship, which was a big step up from the one I was doing. I hadn't qualified for it during the 6 weeks basic training they do at their training centre that British Timken had. But because of my work that I'd done in my apprenticeship up until the point I had the motorbike accident, they recognised that I'd got a talent for something more than what I was being trained for. They realised that I could do something much more. But when I came back, all that had been forgotten. So that was the first ever blow to come my way, really, apart from the motorbike accident. So I stayed working for them for the next, I don't know, 8 years. I got made redundant. I worked for a couple of other companies. I worked for Turbo Technics for a while. That was enjoyable. But ultimately, when British Timken, their sort of work picked up again, they came knocking on the door asking if I'd go back. And they'd always been a really good company to work for. And so, you know, I said yes. And I went working back for them. And so, you know, one thing I forgot to mention is when in my early teens, I decided that I decided to join the Territorial Army. I joined as a joke to begin with. It was all just a joke. I think 3 others decided we'd go in. It was a weekend away. We were going to get free booze on the first night. So we thought, yeah, fuck it, we'll do this. So we all signed up. And we went away for their selection weekend. The oddest of things happened. I absolutely loved it. Man, I really enjoyed it. It was really crazy because we just joined up for a laugh. On the form, it said, you know, why do you want to join? And one of the lads that I joined up with, John, he just put in capitals because I want to kill people. And I don't think he didn't get selected. No big surprise there. But I didn't think I was going to get selected because I wasn't the fittest person there. And I'd got a morbid fear of heights. So I really didn't think I was going to get selected. And at the end of the weekend, you all get called into the captain's office and you sit down and talk with the regimental sergeant major, and he, you know, gives his thoughts and so on. And of course, came to me, and I went in, and he said, I'm glad to tell you you've passed. And I was like really surprised because I'd done the BFT, the battle fitness test at the time, and you had to run 3 miles in something like, I don't know, was it 27 minutes, something like that? Can't remember exactly. And there was only me and a girl left at the end. And I really, really battled to push myself that little bit more just so that I didn't come last. And I managed to do it. Nearly threw up everywhere, but I managed to do it. And he said, "We're putting you through because of you've got determination there. You can tell you're interested in it, and we can see that your fitness will come as you train with us, and your fear of heights, we can address that over the coming weeks." So, I was really, really pleased that I'd got in. It was a bit of an odd feeling because in the space of one weekend, I've gone from thinking of it as a joke to suddenly feeling, wow, I'm actually going to be in the army, and albeit the territorial army. So I was with them for a while, and it reached the stage where I actually wanted to join the regulars. I wanted to become a full-time soldier. That's what I wanted more than anything. I loved the life. It was really important to me that I do this. Never been so sure about anything in my life. So I arranged to get everything sorted. They worked out because so many, like if you serve so long in the territorials, it's worth like for an argument, let's say you serve 5 years in the territorials, that's worth like 1 full year in the regulars or something. That's how it worked back then. As far as that's how I understood it worked back then. I didn't have nowhere near that length of time behind me. But I was going to sort of signed everything up, and I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. But very, very soon after that was when I had the accident. We got the phone. Yeah. That's when I had the motorbike accident. I think I was due to go in and sort of make the full swap over, and I had the accident on the weekend before. It was something like that. I was still working at the time. I was like full-time. I was working for British Timken. I was still with the Territorial Army, due to go into the regular army, and yeah, it all happened then. So I got a medical discharge, and I was bitterly disappointed. Bitterly disappointed. That hit me really hard. That did. That was the first time something had gone wrong for me like that. And from that day to this, it's always been, it's always felt like a cruel blow. But there you go. What can you do? So, moving forward, as I say, I had all those different jobs then. Turbo Technics. That was a good job. I used to enjoy that. Skimming brake discs and cylinder heads. I'm told you don't do that anymore, but at the time we'd done it, I enjoyed doing that. And then obviously British Timken asked for me to come back, so I did. Got married, met Angela, got married. Everything was okay. Then things started to get a bit difficult. And you know, we were just too young, and eventually the relationship broke down, and Angela left. She went to stop with her parents. And that would have been the first time really that I acknowledged that I had depression. It hit me really hard. I've never experienced anything like it. It was the first time. I just really struggled in general. I would be late for work. I started missing missing appointments, or late for work, as I said. And yeah, it was just so difficult. It's a horrible illness, depression. You can go from being really happy and really fun and chit chat and talking to everyone, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like somebody's stuck a needle into the atmosphere and sucked every bit of fun, enjoyment out, and you're just left with this awful, bleak outlook. They call it the black dog. I actually like dogs, so I don't know whether that's a fair analogy, because I'm a big fan of dogs. And yeah, it's a cruel illness, and I really struggled with it. And I got put on all sorts of medication. I think propranolol was one, and the antidepressants, that's when they all started. And I just sort of carried on like that. And then, other things started to happen. Then the Child Support Agency came on the scene. Many of you will know, if you've had dealings with them, that they're not very nice people. They essentially come to take as much money off you as they can. It was I think it was Margaret Thatcher's set up for the Child Support Agency. It's one of those things. A lot of people blame the mothers and say, that she could have said that you weren't, she didn't know who it was or anything like that. But unfortunately, that's not the case, because if they do that, they then have their money stopped for not being cooperative. So, it's just one of those things. They have to give your information up. And so I was chased down, and I had to pay X amount each month. And it was far too much. It was more than I had available. So I decided to take on a second job. And that second job was as a doorman. So I worked door security for a casino, a nightclub, about 3 or 4 different bars, and Charles Bradlaugh was one, a big pub in Northampton, just out off the town centre. And I really enjoyed that. And, at this time, you've got to think, at this time, I was really battling hard with depression. I'd been sent for counselling. I was involved in this group therapy where I had to go 3 times a week. And I was really struggling with life in general. And and then all of a sudden, I'm doing door work. It's a very social occupation, door work. And I loved it because I can get on well with people. I can talk to people, and you know, I don't have a problem with talking to strangers and having a joke and having a laugh with them. And that's what I'd done. And I really liked it. And all of a sudden, my social life began to explode. You know, I was going out more. You know, I've got people talking to me all the time. You know, they were friends, and it was a really was a blessing in disguise. I really enjoyed it, and it reached the point where I thought, you know, I'm going to give up working for British Timken. I'm going to do the door work full time. And see where that leads, because that's I'm having so much fun doing this. And that was around the time that the attack took place. I was attacked while working on the door, and basically the leg that had been repaired all them years earlier, 10 years earlier to be precise, was stamped on quite severely, and more than once. In fact, they jumped up and down on it till it snapped, and then they just broke the rest of whatever they could. I ended up in hospital for 18 months, and it was a horrible, traumatic, degrading experience. Tried to put on a brave face, but once again, my sort of world came crashing in. Again, you know, not a lot I could do about it, and I just had to, you know, you just had to try and battle on. So during that 18 months in hospital, obviously, it ended with me losing the leg. I'd had 12 operations, trying to save it. Might even have been 14. I lost count, to be honest. And yeah, in the end, it was agreed that the leg had to come off. So it did. And interestingly enough, all the friends that I'd made while I'd been doing the door work and everything, they suddenly all dried up. Nobody came to see me in hospital. So I reached a stage where I came out of hospital without any friends. Not a single friend as such. All my old school friends, they'd moved out of the area, but all the ones that had been, you know, my friends up until that point, just they were just gone, and that was another blow. So I sort of came home, and Angela moved back in with me. Initially, she moved in to assist and help me, because obviously I'd come home with minus one leg. And you know, I just became reclusive. I stopped going out. I didn't drink for about probably about 7 years. I never drank. Might even have been a little bit more. I had no interest in anything at all. And yeah, I just became reclusive. I did, at the time, was doing photography. And I you know, I was very good at photography. I got some distinctions, and got some letters after my name. And I did manage to. I've done some weddings, and had my own business going really for a little while, but it all sort of just fell apart as this depression took hold, which is how it works. And so, you know, even now, sitting here just thinking about it and thinking about how it affects you, it's, or just even now, it's sort of affecting my mental process, my thinking, and, you know, thinking about what I've got to say is being, all of a sudden, because I'm thinking about this depression, it's like interfering with what I'm saying. I'm losing my focus and concentration. The order in which I was going to explain things has sort of gone out the window, and you know, you cannot state enough how much this screws you around. I've drawn a complete blank now. So just bear with me a second while I just gather my thoughts together. So I think if I just bring forward now to the modelling, because that's really I've got all muddled up now. Right, so anyway, it came to pass that it was coming up to one Christmas. We needed to get some stuff for the kids for Christmas, and I saw a model kit, and our lads were obsessed with computers. And at the time, we wanted to try and steer him away from computers a little bit, and we wanted him to take an interest in something else. And I saw this model kit, and I thought, that would be perfect. He could do that. I could help him. Yeah, I really like the idea of that. So I bought this. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a little car. It might even have been the World Rally Championship cars. There's a pack of 2, I believe. Airfix. So I got those and wrapped them up, and we've given them for Christmas. Anyway, they sat there for about another year. We didn't touch them. I mentioned to him a couple of times. He said, yeah, I'll have a look at it. But he never did. And in the end, Angela said, why don't you give it a go? And I was like, well, you know, I had nothing to do that day. And I thought, what the hell, I'll go for it. I'll give it a go. And I built this car. And it came out rather well. I was quite pleased with it. I haven't got it now, so I can't show you what it looked like. I didn't even take any pictures. And I also found that while I was doing it, my mind was completely absorbed on what I was doing. And all the negative thoughts that I would get would drift off away. You know, they weren't there. So I started buying more and more kits. I say more and more. It turned out Airfix had a sale that year, and we managed to buy quite a few kits. Some big, some small. I've still got them. I've got one here that I'm going to be building soon, which is... Oh, let me just bring this up. So this was one of the ones I bought at that time when I first started. So yeah, I thought I'd give that a go. So I started building stuff and building these kits, and I really enjoyed it. And so I carried on like that, and steadily everything grew. Got more and more interested in the various different genres: armor, bikes, cars, ships. I've had a go at pretty much all the different types. And that was going great. And then I get a blow again. It said, and it started to feel like every time I got somewhere, I would be set back by something. So this time, it was finances. And you lay awake at night worrying about it, and you could actually come and do some modeling. And even though you've got all these financial worries, you could let it all, for the hour or 2 hours that you're modeling, it just got buried. You never thought of anything other than what you were building. And I've never had a hobby that's done that in the way that model building has done that. I used to go fishing, and you could still go fishing, and I'd still sit there on the canal bank or whatever, worrying about whatever the case was, even while I'm fishing. But with modeling, completely different. You can come start building, and instantly everything's gone. So yeah, that was another blow of sorts. But then I found out about Hangouts. I love Hangouts. They're one of the best things ever. And I've made some absolutely brilliant friends. I've made some really horrible enemies. People I never thought would be enemies, but they've turned out to be enemies. And it's really sad and soul destroying to watch people that you once thought were really good friends go out of their way to cause as much heartache and stress as they possibly can. And it's a horrible thing to go through. But out of all of that, I've had that happen a few times. I've made some fantastic friends. Case in point, I'm not going to single any. I've been sent some great stuff. They know who they are. I'm not going to single them all out and point out everything, because I don't want to do that. But I'm eternally grateful. They've sent me stuff. They've sent me paints, ships. I even had one member sent me the 1/72nd scale Snowberry by Revell, the Platinum Edition. That's a kit that's worth about 150, 60 quid, something like that. And he just sent me it for nothing. Truly a great thing. And I speak to these people through the Hangouts, and it's fantastic that I've come to I consider them friends. And even though a lot of them I've never met, that will be rectified. I know one person's very close to coming down to see me soon. So, but yeah, it's helped in so many different ways. So now really all my friends are on Hangouts. I don't have any friends around me in my local vicinity. I just don't have any, full stop, which saddens me a bit at times. All my friends are on Facebook, and I've been lucky that, well, you know, lucky. Some people say I've been unlucky. That I have met some rather nasty people as well, but you know, it swings and roundabouts, and you know, it pays your money, you take your chance, as they say. So yeah, it's progressing. I still have depression now. It comes and goes. Thankfully, of late, it's been better. I haven't had a nasty episode in quite some time. Touch wood. I'm just trying to think. I get bad days, and that's the whole thing with depression. I normally know when I get up if it's going to be one of those days, and typically you'll get up and I'm like, oh no, it's going to be like that, and that is essentially it. Your day is like that. It's really, must I? Everything's flat. There's no fun in anything. There's no enjoyment watching anything. But you know, if you can get to the bench and you can start modeling, you can get a hangout up, you can get people in. All these things combine, and you can end up with a good night coming out of a bad day. But there you go. It's one of those things. So that's my little story, really. There's probably much more to it than that, but I can't remember all. I did have so many more different things to say, you know, about how I deal with it. I am on. I take some antidepressants. I'm on quite a lot, actually. But yeah, one of the big things that gets me down is the amount of tablets I have to take. I have to take a large amount of medication every day, and it really does piss me off. All you can do is carry on taking it, really. And but then today, let's take so Saturday, I was building this tank, and I'd been painting it, and I had painted it in this colour here, warm sand. Anyway, when I put it on and it dried, it looked awful. It was completely the wrong colour. And I didn't have another colour that was right for it. So I just put a comment on Facebook that I was going to shelve it till I could get the right paint, and then I'd get it back out and do it again. Until then, you know, I think I've started on with the locomotive, the big boy locomotive. Anyway, on Tuesday, so yesterday, I got a small delivery by, bear with me a sec. Oh no, I can't get that. It's too far. By special delivery. So I opened it up, and Gordon, who's in chat, had sent me a set of Hataka paints, and it sent me a set of washes. So it sent me the streaking effects from, now let me get this right, Operation Iraqi Freedom, OIF, and Operation Enduring Freedom, I think it is. And that's streaking effects. And then the base color, which you see here, which is 8K 122 US vehicle base color. And he sent me those. And I was totally blown away by the generosity. Again, you know, they're not cheap. And the fact that he paid like nearly £7 postage, I was, yeah, just blown away by. So again, thanks, Gordon, John, sorry. So there we go, and that's the sort of thing that that's the sort of generosity that is just amazing, really is. It's just amazing. So there we go. That's my little. Apparently, my latest electric bill is ready to view. I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. Never tried the Hataka lacquers, so those of you that can hear we've got the 3D printer running along the side. So I have found out that I do have permission to sell these figures. I've bought the file. I can't sell the file on, but I can sell the figures. This is currently the bottom half of the Predator figure. I'm just going to swing it round so you can see. That's where we're at the moment. That there has been printing now for 32 hours, 42 minutes. We're just doing the bottom half at the moment. So I think we're looking at another 7 hours before that's finished. There are probably another 24 parts to be printed. It takes a long time to print these. Really does take a long time. Let me just put that back there. So just so you can have a look, I've got the spear. This is one half of the spear. The other half slots on there, is glued on there, so it's going to be about that big. This is going to be a big figure. I estimate somewhere around 45 centimeters tall. That's a big figure. So far we've printed his top half of his spear off. We've also printed his hand and arm with blade. I've had trouble with this section being weak and breaking, so I have had to strengthen it and put a little bar in there just to stop it from keep snapping. But yeah, it looks yeah, and so that's where we're at with those. So I'm looking at maybe selling these. I'm thinking in the region of £60 per figure. I've got 4 I'm doing at the moment. I can also get hold of Lord of the Rings, like Gandalf. I can also Game of Thrones, is it the big popular one? I can get those figures. So, or maybe there's something else you're interested in. I can now show one of the ones I've been working on. This is a 3D print as well. So this is a work in progress. Needs a lot more doing to it yet. Can't stress that enough. It's very, very early stages for this. We've got to get all this the right tone and everything, and get the skin tone right. It's quite a big figure. And here's the head. A lot of time went into the head. So it is, of course, Dobby from Harry Potter. I spent a lot of hours painting, tonal range, changing that, going high, going low. So many hours have gone into this figure. Of course, he's got two different coloured eyeballs, and I've also gone for I put a water texture over the eyes to give the eyes that fluid look, which is what I wanted to achieve, that glossy, glassy look that you get on eyes. So yeah, very, very pleased with how it's came out, but it has taken a long time. And yeah, so this is another, the nose isn't quite finished, incidentally. It got chipped when I was putting it away, so it needs a little bit of touching up at the front. I had started to do it, but you know, these things take time. So yeah, I will be, this is another figure that I can sell. Yeah, this one, this is the first one, and this is for my daughter. She's a big Dobby fan, and this was being made for her, either for her birthday or for, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Really like how that's turned out. And yeah, some people say you can't get a good finish on a 3D printer. That's as smooth as. Yes, I've had to do a lot of sanding, but yeah. And of course that will sort of go on there. Obviously the cork is not his neck. That would be ridiculous. But yeah, so so if you're interested in anything like that, or there's something in particular you're after, you may have a design of your own that you want. It doesn't have to be figures. It may be a box you want designing, or I don't know, a moon lamp. I've seen them today. Something like that. Then, you know, let me know, and we'll see if it's something that I can help you with or not. So that's taking its time over there. Right, let's just go and have a look through the chat. I can get. All right, we've got a bit of chat going on tonight. So, starts with Bob Salty Balls, German 3D printing nerd, woof woof. Hi there. Rob says hi, Jan says hey all, more highs and hellos, and yeah, wowzer says Jan. Wow, that sucks about the accident, says John Paul. Yes, it did suck. Suck balls, I'll tell you. But yes, that's those people are nice people. I know, been fighting them for a long time now. I'm assuming you mean the our lovely friends at the Child Support Agency. Is that still going? Been to court 37 times now since the 90s for the same problem. Wow. That's a lot of court appearances. Holy cow, you've gone through a lot. Actually, German 3D printing nerd, I've missed a lot out. I've had a bit of an unlucky life. A consultant once wrote on a private letter to another consultant, which I have actually read. I've seen it with my own eyes. That he'd never met such an unlucky man in his life. And he was referring to the amount of surgeries he'd had to go in to repair something and it had gone wrong, and the amount of times my body rejected stuff. So, yeah. But I missed a lot of the bad stuff out. I've glossed over it, literally. I didn't want it to be a whole evening of doom and gloom. So, I wanted to just gloss over it and just give you a basic sort of Cliff Notes view. So, anyway, Angela's in. Bob says, hi, Mom. I'm not that bad, honest. I love Mark very much, and I was not that bad about what? I never said you were bad. Julie Model Zone had a lot of problems since 2006 when I also had accident at work. Yeah, mine worse. My accident wasn't. Oh yeah, it was at work, wasn't it? I don't consider. See, the problem was when I had my accident, I had two jobs. I had my regular work, which was what I considered my full-time work, and that was with British Timken. And then I had my side job, which was door work. Which I never really considered work. I considered it a social event, if you like. I used to enjoy it, so I never considered it work. Oh God, little did I know. Yeah, I'm just skimming through now. What a big chopper, Bob says. Oh yeah. Yeah, so Angela's saying, little did I know how much room modelling would take. When I started, I've got a picture somewhere, I had a little tiny desk in the corner of the front room, and it literally was about this big, the size of this cutting mat. And on it was all my modelling gear. Everything I owned was on that table. I had a jar with some brushes in, and yeah, it was all there. And I had a shelf off to my right, a little shelf, and it had my paints on, of which I had about 30 in total. Yeah, and that was everything I had. Now I have a snooker table that has got a wooden MDF board on the top. Well, most of you have seen. Most of you have seen. Oh no, it's no point me getting that out because the lead won't let it reach. But yeah, and then behind me, I've got the rack with all the paints. Not all the paints, all the stuff, weathering stuff that's on there. Turf, everything like that is on there. I've got some of my kits up there, probably about a quarter of my kits are on that shelf there. Behind me, I've got brushes, books, and then beneath me, the table, more drawers with more bits in, and so on. So, you know, it really is quite, it's grown a massive amount. Yeah, Gordon's gone on to say that, so Gordon's basically his life fell apart a few years ago when he found out he had cancer and had to have his leg amputated. Thought that it was it till last week when I found out I had early stage bowel cancer. So back in the operating theatre. Damn, George, I didn't know that. Gordon, who's George? Who's George? Do I know a George? Oh, I do know a George, yeah. Gordon, sorry. Awesome friends, yeah. And Fest is in. He says something, but the arrow's over it, so I can't see what it is. Oh, I lost the bloody. Oh, yeah. Oh, I lost my position. Bear with me while I get it back.
Same thing, my only link to the outside world is
All right, yeah. Andrew just said, same here. My only link to the world you see outside is a webcam. And then we've got Ancient Modeler. I don't recognise that. So, welcome, Ancient Modeler. If I haven't seen you before, know what Mark is saying about nasty people in this hobby. One reason, among others, why I have withdrawn from hobby sites, etc. Yeah, you're not the only one. There's quite a few people that have withdrawn and been. Angela was an avid. No, she wasn't an avid. She decided she was going to try have a go at building, and that was going well. She was enjoying it until one rather what can I call him? One rather nasty individual who I'm going to remain and leave nameless at the moment, but he came in and caused all sorts of problems, and as a result, Angela gave it up. She completely packed up with the modelling, didn't want nothing more to do with it. And so I congratulate that guy on his efforts that night because he must have achieved what he set out to, which was to destroy somebody's interest in our hobby. I do know who he is. And some of the stuff he puts is in a complete contradiction to what he done that night. Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on that, but yeah. Yeah. So Susan says hi. Rob B says, Mark, I can really appreciate this. So thanks, Rob. Sue says hi. Bob, hi. Lost it again. Bear with me. Every time I click the arrow, it disappears somewhere. Oh, that's because it keeps taking me down to the bottom. I saw what's happening. Right. Okay, so let me go back up. Ancient modeler put a message in but retracted it. All right, here we are. No, what support that you can't give me? Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to, but now the bloody. Oh dear. So, German 3D printing nerd. Hi there, Sue. Don here. So, thank God I only have a few to take now every day. So maybe on about when I was on about my medication. And then Angela says, I did give up the support due to recent events, but thanks to the support of recent people, I am coming back, albeit very slowly. But there you go, you heard it here first. Angela says hi to Sue. Bob says, hi Bob, I mean Sue. Oh, nice. Right. Lynn Dipple has come in. Heidi Mark. It's Angela, Lynn, not Angelica.
Well, better than Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cope with that.
Jan says, I love the Hataka lacquers. I've never tried them. To be honest, I've never tried Hataka. This is the first time I've used them, and I'm very, very pleased with them. I wouldn't have. Gordon's the whole reason I've got those. So my thanks to him again. Lynn says, hi Bob. Hi Lynn, some more highs. Well done, John, says the German 3D printing nerd, who we now know is Don. So Andrew says, thanks. It's all due to you and Paul and Bob and John's support. Sue says, I will deal with you later, Bobsy. I don't know what, has Bob said something?
You don't want to know.
Oh, right. Yes, us one-legged pirates need to stick together. Ah. Lynn Dittle says, wow. Bob says, I'll get the sauce ready. We've got a camera ride. Jan says, lol, expensive and slow printers. You sure can make cool stuff with it, though. My printer wasn't expensive. I got it at a really good deal. It is running slow, but I want to keep as much detail as I can. Yeah. and it just shows there are good people out there. Just looking through. Nobby Needle, just general chit chat now. Don't scare me like that, Mark. I don't know what. And then Don says, "Take care. I've got to go." Bye, Don. I've just lost the thread again. So.
I just on about the fact that you have it in the front room.
Oh yeah. It literally is in the front room.
A lot of people have sheds. How lucky are you?
Yeah. I know Sue and Paul are in their spare room, but Lynn says, "I hate to leave now, but I've got to go. Catch you all later. Sorry, Andrew, it's been a while. At least I got the A right." Yeah. And then, Mark, do you use a program to use to go live? There should be a fanfare of some sort, because that's the very first question I think I've had. It's just YouTube, mate. It is just YouTube. I go into YouTube Creator and click on New Event, and then I click on Start Now, I think it is, and then you have to click Go Live. You can do it that way, or you can just still go on YouTube and go Stream Now. And that's all I do. And the thing is, it records it all and it puts it straight on the channel. It takes about an hour or so before it's fully uploaded. But it's all on there, ready to pretty much watch. So Rob's asking, what's the US base coat paint? Well, this was sent to me by Gordon or John, and it's AK-122. It's OIF and OEF US vehicles base color. So Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom US vehicles base color. AK-122. That is that base coat there. It's thin enough to spray straight from the bottle. Be warned though, if you use, like I did, I've got an Ultimate Apex, turn the pressure right down to around 10, because if you've got it up at 24 or around there, somewhere like that, you are going to blow through this paint ever so quick. That's one thing you really need to be on the ball with. Make sure you turn it down enough so that you're getting some spray, but not too much so that you're getting nothing coming out. So yeah, it doesn't help because I think it's a 0.35 needle. I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time since anyone's said anything about this airbrush to me. So yeah, it's a really nice, really very nice color. It's matte, beautiful. Yeah, highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to order some more. As soon as I've got some money spare, I'm going to get some more. And because I see a lot more armor in my future after building this. It's been a beautiful kit to build. It's nowhere near finished. I know I said at the beginning I was going to model while I was talking, but I'm not very good at multitasking. I can't model and talk at the same time.
No,
Plus, I've got plans for this, and if I start working on it now, I'm going to give away a lot of what I'm doing, and I want to leave that as a surprise. So I thought it best if I just leave it alone and do the building off camera. So I'm just saying bye. So John Paul says, I tried what you did and lost my audio after 15 minutes. So trying to see if I use encoder, if it will happen again. That blinking encoder is a nightmare. Every time I've tried that, it's been a disaster. John, if you want, you can come into the Hangout. I will put a screen share up and I will show you exactly how I go about setting it up and how I start off a Hangout or a live stream, and you can see for yourself, see whether it's any different. That's up to you. So yeah, let me know if you want to do that. I can arrange that and I'll show you how to do it. But that encoder, oh dear, yeah. I got it. I set mine up a couple of weeks ago. I got it working, but I'm not a great fan of it. Ramsey's going. Right. There we are. 9:30. Look at that. So I think that's pretty much it. So as always, there will be a there will be a Hangout coming on. And I can't remember if it's the same link. Try this. So try the link that you came onto the live show to watch. Oh, here we go. We've got a troll. Donald Trump. Should I send a couple of aircraft carriers to invade and take over the pathetic UK?
Well, good luck if he does.
Brilliant. Donald Trump was timed out by Bob Salty Balls Bobbington for 300 seconds. Oh, we've got to get a screen grab of that.
Where to go, Bob?
Bob has, yes, Trump.
Bonus points.
That's brilliant. Oh, where's my camera? Oh, it'll be on there for everyone to see. Oh, that's brilliant. Anyway. Right, so thanks for Donald Trump joining us, who got booted by, and then we got Trump My Love. We've got some trolls. Trump My Love was timed out by, yeah, so yeah, it seems we're packing up at about the right time. Yeah, we've got some rather sad individuals that are trying to disrupt things. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching and hope to see you again next week. Hope you've enjoyed this evening. Enjoy your modelling. Remember, it's very therapeutic, and I look forward to seeing you all next week or in the week on our hangout if you're available. So, yeah, we're getting loads of them coming through now. Okay then. Bye for now. See you later.